I'm not sure what it says about me that with this video, my 6th one so far, a full third of them will be about games where the main thing you do is drive around a tiny little K-truck, but here we are anyway. Easy Delivery Co. This is a game that immediately caught my attention because of said K-truck. I love those things, they are the ideal mode of personal transport for me, conceptually anyway. I'm like 6 foot, I don't even know if I'd comfortably fit in one. There is an allure to K-trucks I don't find in other cars. They're small, often cute, yet functional and practical. And you can't help but imagine yourself driving through the countryside on a sunny day with one arm hanging out the window, tapping the car door, not a care in the world. Easy Delivery Co. does not present such a visage. In fact, it might be its spiritual inverse. As you may have guessed by the name of the game is that you are a delivery driver, tasked with picking up jobs and packages from one part of a snow-covered mountain town and delivering them to another. In general, I think it's healthy to approach games like these with some amount of skepticism, even if I was quickly drawn in by its aesthetic. After all, the aestheticization of jobs like these is out of touch at best, harmful at worst. More thought needs to be put into the design of the kinds of games where you, work in a shop, stacking shelves and things like that. These jobs are inherently exploitative. They aren't cute and cozy. Easy Delivery Co. gets that though. It's not a particularly challenging game, and the consequences of failure are minimal, but still unsettling. We'll get back to that. Still, there are two things you have to be conscious of while making your deliveries: your energy level and your fuel consumption. Energy can be replenished in a few ways, but namely by buying energy drinks, which cost an obscene amount of money to buy. What do you mean it's almost $5 for one can of heart palpitation juice? Is that how much these things actually cost? I don't buy them, they don't taste nice, they're yucky. And fuel you need to get the old-fashioned way at a gas station, which also takes a huge dent out of your paycheck, but ain't that just the economy? Of course, the only way to get energy drinks or pay for fuel is through businesses owned by, you guessed it, your own employers, yay! This certainly couldn't be a snake eating its own tail. Easy Delivery Co. is self-aware in this way, which reminds you the job you're doing isn't a stress-free one, even if the act of driving around itself is fun. Because it has to be fun. This is a driving game, very clearly inspired by old arcade-style races. If the thing you're doing a majority of the time isn't fun to do, it gets old fast. I really loved driving around this game to take on a K-truck. The best way I can describe it is that the truck has a real sense of personality. It's almost like a living creature. Its suspension system bouncing and bobbling you around. You can get some speed in this thing too. It'd honestly be a pretty satisfying arcade racer in its own right. There's another aspect to it that I feel quite safely pushes it out of the cozy game danger zone too, which is its soundtrack. I'm super into how this works mechanically. At the start of the game, you can't really tune into a particular channel, it's all just fuzz and a vague hint towards something more musical. As you make your deliveries, you might spot some radio towers to turn on, with each one activated adding in a new station for you to listen to at your leisure. Yeah, there's one station that plays some lo-fi beats to make deliveries too, but you've got some jungle and drum and bass kind of tracks going on as well. It makes it feel like it's a game that understands its place in the history of driving games. A history that equally understands how fucking sick it is to blitz down a road listening to the melodic equivalent of a panic attack. Yeah baby, wahoo, oh. As silly and exciting as it can be to speed down these snowy, slippery mountain roads to jungle beats, it can also just be so quiet. You don't have to turn the radio on, and if you don't, you're mostly just met with the sound of winter winds. There are no people to be found wandering these streets, despite the large enough number of buildings implying a certain size of population. This makes sense. You yourself collapsed after being in the cold for too long. I can't imagine anyone else wanting to take a brisk walk. After all, why go anywhere when Easy Delivery Co. can deliver anything you need right to your door? It's hard to articulate the feelings of loneliness, but also relaxation this emptiness brings out of me. Occasionally you might see a train pass by on a bridge, the same train that implicitly brought you into this town. Sometimes you might decide to break out a log to set up a campfire and just take in the sights, as far as the sights let you see anyway. It feels like you can just turn off for a bit, shut down the noise of the modern world. I like that despite how sparse the town is of people, there'll be tiny, sweet little blackbirds hopping around the ground, always moving out in the nick of time as you drive along. No idea why these birds would be exposing themselves to such harsh temperatures, or why their proclivities lead them towards the middle of the road at all times. And yet I'm still glad they're there, so that I have some kind of company while I drive around. For every moment I sped around, I felt pulled to slow down and take a moment for myself, because if I don't, maybe I'd go a bit mad. That ever-draining energy meter and dwindling funds often brings you right back to reality. But for a brief moment, Easy Delivery Co. does allow some amount of relaxation, even if not for long. And then to complete the triptych of atmospheres this game offers, there is its underlying creepiness. Yeah, it'd be easy to jump in and say, fog, that's a Silent Hill reference, I know that one. That's not really what I'm talking about here. As you start to deliver more and more packages, you find that townspeople, they're all cats, I don't know, I couldn't think of a good joke here. You find the town cat's people repeatedly mistaking you for someone called Seb, an unseen character who used to serve your role as delivery driver. Seb was friends with the only dog in town, MK, a character that sort of serves as your guide through the game's story. I don't really want to spoil much of what the story is, because the game only took me a handful of evenings to wrap up, and because it keeps its cards close to its chest. It is a game of implications of something maybe not sinister, but questionable. Nobody in the town seems quite right, they all seem too content to stay within their respective stations of employment, sending and receiving packages as and when the orders come through. This act of delivery is positioned almost as a caring, necessary one. This is a harsh world to live in after all, and the brief part of company you offer its inhabitants seems quite valuable to them. Well, not the gas store clerk, gas store, who fucking calls it that? The gas station clerk, he hates your guts, and you know what, fair, when has working at a gas station ever been something anyone actively wants to do? Easy Delivery Co. doesn't go full Death Stranding, which positions Mr. Reedus as Amazon.com Jesus, but it certainly contemplates the fleeting relationships we have with the people that deliver our mail. That in and of itself is perhaps a questionable feeling to have, that we only get small windows into other people's lives who are bringing us things we have the luxury of not going out to get ourselves. Yeah man, the silly K-Truck cat game gives big feelings. You're not allowed to just vibe out, living is politics, babe. Looping back around to running out of energy and the consequence of quote-unquote failure, you don't exactly die, but you do end up in this place. It's a series of corridors, there's no sound, no lights. All you have is a storm lamp to light your way, and you just walk. Walk where? I don't know, it's seemingly endless. There is nothing in particular you can do to come back to the world of the living, if you call being stuck delivering packages for hardly any money living anyway. And when you do return, you just have to continue as normal. It's a little freaky. Easy Delivery Co. is a game that knows it's a game and seeks out to make you uncertain of your role within it. That feels so interesting to me when you take into consideration most people would just look at it as a game to zoom about a K-Truck in for a few hours. You can just go around delivering packages if you want, but the game's mystery around what's really going on in this strange town will force you to think about the actions you're taking. I'm gonna leave it there because the ending of the game, if you take the step that I took, legitimately fucked me up in a way that I haven't stopped thinking about since I reached it. There is a feeling of a creepypasta being brought to life here almost. And if that's your bag, and you're as much of a K-Truck fiend as I apparently am, I think this is a pretty easy recommendation. A full round of houses for Easy Delivery Co. That's my new rating system. Full houses. And that's all I got. And there's fishing too. I just think that neat. Alright, bye!